How's it going, IO? I'm your host Bridget Shields, and in honor of tonight's Super Bowl, we're going to be counting down the top 10 celebrities banned from the Super Bowl halftime show. Number 10, Dababy. The 30-year-old rapper will never be invited onto the Super Bowl stage, and there's a very good reason for that. Dababy rose to mainstream prominence in 2019, but only 2 years later, in July of 2021, he lost most of his fan base by bringing his extremely homophobic views to his performance. He shouted many questionable things at the crowd, mainly trying to hype them up with disparaging comments about gay men. Of course, his behavior quickly drew massive criticism online, and his attempt to clarify his views didn't help at all. He ended up digging himself deeper by saying that he wanted to uplift his gay fans. Naturally, Dababy got ripped into by the LGBTQ community and a chorus of celebrities like Madonna, Elton John, and Dua Lipa. He's still making music, but his career has yet to fully recover from the controversy, and it's unlikely he'll ever be accepted back onto such a massive stage like the Super Bowl. Number 9, Jennifer Lopez. The 2020 Super Bowl halftime show was a massive night, considering that the two music icons were sharing the stage. But it turns out that J-Lo wasn't a big fan of giving up the spotlight, and she made sure to criticize the NFL in the years following the performance. In her recently released documentary called Halftime, she labeled it as the worst idea in the world. She said, "If it was going to be a double headliner, they should have given us 20 minutes. That's what they should have effing done." Basically, she was frustrated with the NFL for booking two headliners and making them share the same amount of time that any solo performer would receive, as opposed to doubling it and giving the women extra time to shine. Not only that, but her performance brought about some controversy for its political messaging, which is something that the Super Bowl is strictly against. During the show, children in small cages appeared on the field with a large fence behind the stage. Some viewers felt that this was a reference to Donald Trump's immigration policy of separating families at the US-Mexico border. Number 8, the Red Hot Chilli Peppers. In 2014, the band joined Bruno Mars on stage to play their 90s hit song Give It Away, but viewers quickly noticed that both the guitar and the bass were completely unplugged. Then Flea posted an open letter confirming the rumors that they largely faked their Super Bowl halftime show performance. In his letter, he revealed that only Anthony's vocals were performed live. He said, "It was made clear to us that the vocals would be live, but the bass, drums, and guitar would be pre-recorded. There was not any room for argument on this." Apparently, the NFL was unwilling to risk any unexpected sound problems during the segment. The Red Hot Chili Peppers ordinarily refused to fake or mime playing instruments on stage, but when they realized that the Super Bowl halftime show represented a once-in-a-lifetime thing, they decided to make an exception and play by their rules. This letter not only exposed the NFL, but it also angered fans, who claimed that the band simply bowed to their desire for a perfect performance over a real one. Number 7, Marilyn Manson. The singer will not be invited onto the Super Bowl stage because of his recent controversies. In February of 2021, actress Evan Rachel Wood made an Instagram post that said, "I am here to expose this dangerous man and call out the many industries that have enabled him before he ruins any more lives." Since then, more than a dozen women have come forward with allegations against Manson, 4 of them including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco. But although the singer has denied claims, Manson's record label Loma Vista severed ties with him in February of 2021. It was also announced that his role in the Starz TV show American Gods would be cut, and an episode of Creepshow that was set to star Manson was dropped from the AMC series. His manager said goodbye and CAA no longer reps him. Weeks later, HBO released Wood's documentary called Phoenix Rising, which details all the allegations. Number 6, Kanye West. The rapper has been banned from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, considering the extent of his recent controversies. After making a slew of anti-Semitic statements on various platforms in December, Kanye has gone through a mass cancellation, and he's been dropped by just about every single brand that he's ever worked with. He was locked out of his Twitter and Instagram account, and doors started closing on him left and right. He was kicked out of his bank JP Morgan Chase, abandoned by Vogue, Balenciaga, and Gap. Eventually, he even lost his lucrative partnership with Adidas. The German sports brand called his remarks unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and said that they violated the company's values of diversity and inclusion. In fact, when Kanye attended the Super Bowl last year, he was booed by thousands of spectators. He was spotted at the SoFi Stadium in LA with his daughters North and Saint, and as soon as he appeared on the big screen from his seat, fans started booing him. And that was long before he reached the height of controversy for his anti-Semitic remarks. So really, there is no chance the NFL would ever endorse such a divisive figure at one of their halftime shows. Number 5. Travis Scott. Although the rapper previously performed with Maroon 5 at the halftime show in 2019, that's something that he got a lot of criticism for because of how many people did not want him to take the job. It was a highly controversial year as the NFL came under fire for their treatment of Colin Kaepernick, the former 49ers quarterback who was blackballed for kneeling in protest of police brutality. Travis ended up accepting the role despite the fact that Jay-Z reportedly tried to warn him against it. And it wasn't even worth it in the end, as many fans felt the performance was a letdown. But the real reason why the NFL won't allow him to perform again is actually because of what happened at his Astroworld concert in 2021. Tragedy struck when 10 people lost their lives during a crowd surge, and Travis came under fire for continuing his performance while people were dying. He has since said that he was unaware of what was happening and apologized to the victims' families. That's just way too much controversy for the Super Bowl to ever welcome him back on stage. Number 4. Adele. When the singer turned down the opportunity to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2016, she made sure to criticize the entire spectacle and make it clear that she has no intention of ever getting on that massive stage. During a concert in LA, Adele told the crowd that she declined the NFL's invitation. She said, "First of all, I'm not doing the Super Bowl. Well, come on, I mean, that show is not about music, and I can't dance or anything like that." So they were very kind. They did ask me, but I said no. This year, during her Las Vegas residency show, the singer revealed to the audience that she'll be attending the big game, but it's not because she's interested in the game. She said, "I'm just going for Rihanna. I don't give an F." So you really have to love her honesty there. But after everything she said about the NFL, there's no way that she's ever going to receive another invitation. Number 3. MIA. This one is a no-brainer. During the halftime performance with Madonna in 2012, the rapper stuck her middle finger up at the camera. 1 month later, the NFL filed a $1.5 million lawsuit against her, claiming it was a breach of contract and tarnished the organization's goodwill and reputation. Then in March of 2014, they added another $15 million to the claim. Speaking to Huck, the musician said that the lawsuit activated so many people to come after her on so many different levels. And in terms of racism and sexism, the situation showed the cracks in everyone that she knew. In the end, MIA threw the blame on her former manager, Jay-Z. She said, "I was at Rock Nation at the time and Jay-Z was managing me. The lawsuit was so ridiculous. It proposed that they would keep 100% of my earnings for the rest of my life if I ever earned more than $2 million. The craziest part of all of this was that apparently Jay-Z encouraged her to sign it. Thankfully, she was able to settle out of court, but the incident took a massive toll on her career. Number 2. Akon. In 2019, the rapper spoke out against fellow artists who were choosing to boycott the Super Bowl, after many of them passed on the show in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. Akon let it be known that he thinks it's not the right move to skip out on playing the event. He said, "I think all of that's stupid. You're in this business for 2 reasons. One is to make an impact, and 2 is for the business of it." But defending the NFL didn't really help his case. Over the years, Akon has drawn way too much backlash for his onstage antics, and that makes him a highly unsuitable candidate for the halftime show. In 2007, he hurled a 15-year-old off stage, all because he got irritated with him. Shockingly, he decided to pick him up and throw him from the stage into the crowd. That same year, the rapper lost a $3 million deal with Verizon when he had simulated intercourse with a female dancer on stage at one of his concerts. Overall, it was a complete disaster. And coming in at number 1, Eminem. The rapper performed at last year's Super Bowl, and as his rendition of Lose Yourself ended, he took a knee and held his head in his hand in a way that was a tribute to Colin Kaepernick. The move sent social media into a frenzy, considering that it was done in direct opposition to the NFL. But the organization eventually released a statement saying that they had seen rehearsals and they were well aware that Eminem was planning to kneel. Either way, a lot of fans loved the move, even though it was extremely controversial. But while Eminem hasn't said anything about it, some people claim that it had nothing to do with Colin Kaepernick, but it was actually a nod to Tupac, because when he knelt, Dr. Dre sat down at the piano to play Tupac Shakur's I Ain't Mad at Ya, and that's why people made the connection. Well, that's everyone on the list for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.